The foundation of making a woman miss you is counterintuitive to what our instincts often tell us. We are programmed to believe that, to be remembered, we must be present. To be loved, we must be attentive. However, the true secret lies not in constant pursuit, but in the artful creation of space. This is the principle of strategic distance, a concept that is less about playing games and more about demonstrating a fundamental and attractive truth. You are a complete and independent individual with or without her. The constant chase, the daily check-ins, the immediate replies, these behaviors, while stemming from a place of interest, effectively smother the very spark they hope to ignite. They leave no room for wonder, no vacuum for longing to fill. When you are always there, you become a predictable part of her landscape, like a piece of furniture. It is your absence, not your presence, that makes you a compelling figure in her mind. This approach is rooted in robust psychological principles. The no-contact strategy works because it taps into deep-seated human motivations related to reward and addiction. When a man seamlessly demonstrates that his world does not grind to a halt in her absence, he communicates a powerful message of self-sufficiency. This creates a subtle but profound shift in the dynamic. She moves from being a priority to being an option, a desirable one, but an option nonetheless. This is not about devaluing her, but about establishing mutual respect. The human brain is wired to want what it perceives as slightly elusive. The feeling of mild rejection, or more accurately, the realization that she is not the sole focus, stimulates the same neural pathways associated with motivation and craving. It's the thrill of the chase, but in reverse. She begins to subconsciously ask herself, why isn't he chasing me? What is he doing that is more important? This line of questioning is not born out of malice, but from intrigue. And it is this intrigue that keeps you occupying her thoughts. The practical application of this is where many falter, mistaking strategic distance for mere silence. It is not about ignoring her or being rude. It is about recalibrating your availability. It means allowing text conversations to reach a natural conclusion rather than artificially prolonging them. It means waiting a few hours before replying, not as a calculated rule, but because you were genuinely engaged in your own life, be it work, a hobby, or time with friends. The goal is to break the pattern of predictable availability. If you are always the one to initiate contact, stop. Create a vacuum. Let her experience what a day or even a few days feels like without your voice or messages. This silence is not empty. It is fertile ground for her imagination. She will start to wonder about your activities. Who are you with? What are you achieving? Is there another woman? A flicker of jealousy, that potent emotional accelerant, might even creep in. This entire process forces her to invest mental energy in you. An investment, whether emotional or mental, breeds attachment. By not contacting her, you are not pushing her away. You are inviting her in, allowing her the space to actively miss you, and in doing so, to realize your true value in her life. In the modern landscape of connection, your digital footprint is not merely a gallery of your past. It is a dynamic and powerful narrative tool. When you consciously create physical and communicative space, as outlined in the first principle, a woman's natural curiosity will inevitably lead her to the most accessible window into your world, your social media. This is where the second principle comes into play, which is the active curation of an irresistible persona. This stage is critical because a vacuum of contact, if paired with a vacuum of interesting activity, will simply read as disinterest or a boring life. The goal is to ensure that when she looks, she doesn't see a blank slate or a life on pause, but rather a vibrant, compelling story that she is, for the moment. Missing out on this curation is often misunderstood as inauthentic boasting, but its most effective form is far more subtle. It is not about fabricating a life of luxury or constant adventure. Instead, it is about consciously highlighting the genuine positives and engagements that already exist. People, often subconsciously, operate on a simple heuristic. If it's not on social media, it didn't happen. Therefore, your online presence becomes the de facto proof of your offline reality. Sharing an achievement, a completed project at work, A personal goal reached tisn't bragging. It's signaling competence, ambition, and a life of forward momentum. Posting a picture from a fun experience with friends, a hike with a stunning view, or even a quiet moment in an interesting cafe, ice and tea shallow. It's evidence of a well-rounded, emotionally rich existence. These posts communicate a powerful underlying message. My life is full and moving forward. With or without you, the psychological effect this has on a woman who is already beginning to miss you is profound. It transforms her feeling of absence from one of simple curiosity into a specific sense of missing out. This feeling, often abbreviated as FOMO, fear of missing out, is a potent emotional trigger. When she sees a photo of you laughing with a group of friends, she isn't just seeing a picture. She is remembering the sound of your laugh and wishing she were there to share the joke. When she sees evidence of a success you've achieved, she feels a pang of regret that she wasn't there to celebrate it with you. This is the crucial mechanism at work. You are not just showing her that you are busy. You are showing her that your life is filled with positive events and emotional rewards from which she is currently excluded. Women have a deep-seated desire to feel involved in a man's life, to be his confidant and cheerleader. By allowing her to witness these moments from a distance, you are teasing that very instinct. You are making her want to be part of the narrative, not just an observer of it. The unspoken question you want to plant in her mind is, why am I looking at his life instead of being in it? This strategic sharing makes your absence felt not as an emptiness, but as an active loss of shared experience, powerfully motivating her to bridge the gap she now feels so acutely. Having established a foundation of strategic distance and curated an appealing digital persona, you now enter the most delicate phase, the test of resolve. This is where her curiosity, now fully ignited, will manifest in action. And your response will determine whether the intrigue deepens or evaporates entirely. The art of mastering mystery is not just about being silent. It is about how you handle the inevitable pull she exerts to draw you back into her orbit. This chapter is about resisting the temptation to break character, understanding that the reward for patience is a significant increase in her investment. The first and most common test will be what can be termed as attention bait. This is her attempt to re-engage you indirectly, a low-risk probe to see if you are still watching. It often takes the form of a carefully posted photograph on social media, perhaps more alluring or thoughtful than usual, or a vague status update that seems pointedly relevant to your previous conversations. The primitive instinct, the one fueled by eager validation, is to immediately respond, double-tap the photos, to comment with a fire emoji. This instinct must be mastered and suppressed. Liking her picture, the moment it appears, is the equivalent of a fisherman immediately grabbing the line the moment the bait is touched. You scare the fish away. By ignoring these bids for attention altogether, you accomplish something far more powerful than validation. You create suspense. You leave her in a state of anticipation, constantly checking her notifications, wondering if you have seen it, and if you have, why you have chosen not to acknowledge it. Your silence in the face of her signal is louder than any light could ever be. It communicates that her attempt to lure you was transparent and that you are not so easily summoned. When this indirect approach fails to yield the desired result, she will almost certainly escalate to direct contact. This is the critical moment. A text message arrives. Hey, how have you been? The way you handle this communication is paramount. The cardinal sin here is to reveal excessive excitement. Responding instantly with a flood of enthusiasm. Oh my God, I've been thinking about you. So glad you texted. My week has been crazy. Let me tell you everything. Is a catastrophic misstep. It shatters the entire illusion of the busy, independent man you have carefully constructed. It screams dependence and neediness, revealing that you have, in fact, been waiting by the phone. Instead, the response must be cool, collected, and friendly, yet brief. A simple, hey, things are good. Hope you're well, is cordial enough to acknowledge her, but deliberately vague enough to maintain the mystery. The timing of the reply is also part of the dance. Replying after a reasonable delay, one that suggests you were engaged in other matters, reinforces your independence. This approach does not push her away. It makes her work for your engagement. she is left with more questions than answers, and the conversation, rather than being a flood of information that satisfies her curiosity, becomes a key that turns the lock, opening the door for her to invest more effort to learn what she is missing. By playing it cool, you turn her direct contact not into a conclusion, but into an invitation for her to pursue a deeper connection. The strategies of distance, curation, and mystery lay the groundwork, but they primarily engage the mind. To truly cement a place in a woman's consciousness, you must tap into the deeper, more visceral realm of emotion. This chapter moves beyond intellectual curiosity into the powerful currents of association and possession. The goal here is not to manipulate cruelly, but to understand and ethically leverage fundamental emotional triggers that make your presence feel unique and your absence feel like a tangible loss. This is where you transition from being a man she thinks about to a man she feels for. The first tool in this emotional toolkit is the deliberate yet careful evocation of jealousy. It is crucial to understand that this is not about fabrication or malice. It is about authentically showcasing the social proof that you are a man of value to others. The intention is not to make her feel insecure or inadequate, but to trigger a gentle realization that you are not waiting in stasis for her attention. You are a participant in life, and your world contains other people, including other women. This can be achieved with subtlety. Group photo from a social event where you are standing next to a female friend. Story casually mentioned about a helpful colleague who happens to be a woman. Or even expressing admiration for a public figure. All these actions plant a seed. Her imagination, far more potent than any explicit statement you could make, will do the rest of the work. It will jump to the possibility of competition. This is effective because it challenges her sense of ownership. When she perceives you as universally desired, your attention becomes a scarcer, more valuable commodity. The underlying message is clear. I am not a given. My interest is not an infinite resource you can tap into at your convenience. It is an active choice I make, and one that others are also seeking. This realization transforms her perception of you from a passive admirer into an active prize, making her value the connection you share far more highly. The second, and perhaps more profound technique, is the creation of a unique emotional anchor, a personalized nickname. This strategy operates on a principle of psychology known as associative memory, where one stimulus automatically triggers the recall of another. By giving her a nickname that is meaningful, perhaps derived from an inside joke, shared memory, her favorite flower, or a characteristic you find endearing, you are creating a cognitive shortcut directly back to you. The power of this is that it moves you outside the confines of your direct interactions. The nickname becomes a trigger that operates independently of your presence. Every time a mutual friend uses it, every time she sees the object it references, be it a type of coffee, song, or a color, her brain involuntarily conjures an image of you and the feeling associated with that moment of intimacy. This is far more powerful than simply missing a person. It is about being constantly reminded of them through the fabric of daily life. You are no longer just a person she thinks of. You become an echo in her world, a ghost in her machine. The nickname is a gift of association, ensuring that even in your absence, you have a persistent, gentle presence in her mind. It's a way of ensuring that the emotional connection you've built is not easily displaced, because you have woven your memory into the very lexicon of her experience. Together, these strategies of gentle jealousy and personal association ensure that her feelings for you are not just a passive response to your absence, but an active, emotionally charged current running through her daily life. The previous chapters have detailed tactical approaches creating space, building intrigue, and triggering emotion. However, these strategies are merely the scaffolding. They are ineffective and ultimately transparent if not built upon a foundation of genuine, substantive value. The ultimate reason a woman misses a man is not because he has mastered a set of tricks, but because he has proven himself to be a person of authentic worth, whose absence creates a tangible void. This final chapter moves beyond tactics and into the core of lasting attraction, becoming a man who is inherently missed because of the unique quality of presence he offers. This is about transforming the temporary longing created by absence into a permanent appreciation for the value you bring to her life. The most powerful way to establish this value is through the dynamic of mentorship and guidance. This has nothing to do with condescension and everything to do with confidence and competence. Women are intrinsically drawn to men from whom they can learn, who can open doors to new worlds, skills, or perspectives. This desire is rooted in a deep-seated appreciation for strength and leadership. When you can introduce her to something she hasn't known before, whether it's a complex philosophical concept, a hands-on skill like navigating by the stars, the intricacies of a niche hobby, or even a new way of thinking about a problem, you position yourself as a source of growth. This is profoundly attractive. It signifies that being with you is not just about companionship, but about evolution. She will be eternally grateful for the knowledge you impart, and that gratitude becomes intertwined with her affection for you. Every time she uses that knowledge or recalls that perspective, she will think of you. Becomes synonymous with her own personal development, making you an irreplaceable part of her narrative. This leads to the final and most critical pillar of making her miss you, the conscious and respectful cultivation of interdependence through individual freedom. This is the grand paradox. All the tactics of creating space are meaningless if, when you are together, you are clingy, demanding, or suffocating. The healthiest and most magnetic thing you can do is to actively encourage her to have a vibrant life of her own. Support her ambitions, celebrate her time with friends, and show genuine interest in her independent pursuits. This does not push her away. It builds immense trust and respect. It demonstrates that you are with her, not out of neediness, but out of choice. You are a confident anchor, not a dead weight. This balance is everything. By giving her the freedom to fully be herself, you accomplish two crucial things. First, you prevent the relationship from becoming stagnant and codependent, ensuring that the time you spend together is a conscious reunion of two whole individuals, not the desperate clinging of two halves. Second, and more importantly, you allow her the psychological space to actually feel your absence. If your presence dominates her entire life, your absence is just an emptiness. But if she has her own life, and you are the wonderful, exciting addition to it, then your absence is the specific loss of that unique joy, intellectual stimulation, and emotional support that only you provide. She misses not just a boyfriend, but her guide, her champion, and her favorite adventure. Therefore, making a woman miss you is not the culmination of a short-term strategy, but the natural result of being a man of such authentic value that his presence is a gift and his absence is a genuine loss. It is the art of making your togetherness so enriching that being apart serves only to remind her why she wants you back.